oftentimes is what I've seen is someone may come to me and be like, oh, I didn't know we could do that. And I can suggest, and we can maybe take it a slightly different direction from the initial approach. But that, depending on if it's corporate, oftentimes it doesn't have too much leeway. Individuals, it can be a whole different idea from what they've come to me for. So it depends. I've found ways to get the right information out of people so that our expectations are at the same place, to know my limit. I want them to know what they can expect, the limitations, the time, and all that, so that we can have a good understanding. I think that's, you just got, yeah. I can't, it's not in me to just say I'll do it and I'll learn, especially if the due date is like 2 weeks away. And I know it's going to take a week to do it. It means I have a week to learn.
It's just sort of like unnecessary pressure.
Mm.
So what I'm hearing is communication is like an important skill to have, and also like setting expectations and managing expectations is so really important. I mean, that's what I've experienced in the work that we do within JD Creations as well, because your reputation is everything in these industries. And if you fail to deliver things, it takes a dent out of that reputation. And the industry is small. Like, people talk, and people, your next opportunity is very much dependent on your current one, because if you do a good job or not, that will depend on whether the person is going to recommend you to someone else or not. So it's like important to show up consistently throughout everything that you do, because you never know who's watching or what's going to come from that. Do you have any like story that you can experience? Because from what I'm hearing is a lot of the learning that you had was through trial and error.
Yeah.
So how did you learn that communication thing? Was there like a specific project or something that happened that taught you that, or?
I guess over time, when I was doing the photography, when I started photographing people, this was after matric, when I started the photography side. I'd explain that the way I did photo shoots was a bit different, I think, to a lot of other people. We talked about it a lot beforehand. I'd say, these are my ideas, this is my inspiration, I want to go for something with this kind of lighting and this and that. And I'd say, we're going to take however many photos, but in the end, they may be like 2 or 3, and I might take 2 months for this, and then 6 months later, I'll do the next, and so on. It came from fully explaining that I'm not going to just take the photo, quickly edit overnight, and give it to you tomorrow. Because early on, it was like a few days would go by, and it'll be like, hey, where are my photos? And these, by the way, weren't paid shoots. These were these were my creative exploration shoots. And so it came from letting people know that I need time, firstly. I need this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to try to do this and that. And I think that's where it came from. But where I felt it fully in the corporate side, there was a job where I think I don't know if it falls on, it's communication, where I can't give the details of it, but there was a project, it had to look a certain way, it had to give a certain feel when looking at it, and I'd give it to the person who hired me, and then they'd take it and explain it to the client. And I know I was doing it right to what they needed. Like, we went back and forth, and it was just like, oh no, it's not. I'm like, there's no way this is not going to work. So then I said, for this version, send it, but don't tell the client anything but this. And then they did it, and then we got approved.
Mm-hmm.
And then I knew that however they explained it wasn't, like, the message was getting lost in translation. I realized that communication is also a big part of it.